Okay, so Sasi, you started playing in Singapore back in the early days of the S League. You got all these doom and gloom merchants now saying the game's getting worse and worse and worse. And is it? I mean, can you compare your early days in the S League to now? What's the standard like?
To be fair, when we started off the S League, it was quite exciting. We got crowds like 30,000 for Geylang United and Woodlands Wellington game. So when we looked at it from the history point of view, we have had the kind of support we have had back in the Malaysia Cup days. But unfortunately, it's just gone from bad to worse. In my opinion, crowds really dropping to levels that I don't even want to mention. But and also now we are having a talent drain as well. We are getting a lot of our probably the best, better known players in Singapore leaving for the likes of Indonesia. So and I'm sure it won't stop there. It's going to keep happening in the next couple of years as well. And with the Thai Premier League coming up as well, so you can see a lot of the talented players in Indonesia and Thailand. So it is worrying times, but it's been to it. I think I would like to see it as a positive for Singapore players because they've had the opportunity to hone them, and now that they are of a certain standard, clubs in Indonesia and perhaps even Singaporean players, which is all good news if you ask me.
We've lost half a dozen players, which is half the national team, but surely that's an opportunity for some younger lads to get out there and say, hey, look at me, Reddy, look what I'm doing.
I think that would be the opportunity for Reddy now to bring in younger players, to give them an opportunity to stake a claim in the national team, because the national team players, you can only get them back on FIFA date, so it's going to be interesting. Reddy won't have all his national team players at his disposal now. You can't go in training camp for 2 weeks, you can't do that. You need to go by the FIFA ruling in terms of 48 hours, depending on which competition it is. So I think that gives an opportunity to Reddy to pick up some younger talents. Perhaps the boys from the Young Lions have the opportunity now to step up. But looking at the youth setup at the moment, I don't really see a lot of talent coming through. But that could all quickly change now because I suppose the FAS has to change its strategy now in terms of getting players through. They need to fast track some talents, so to speak. So it's going to be interesting for Singapore football.
We talked about this talent drain with all these guys moving to Indonesia, and oddly enough, actually, if you just go over there, that will take you directly to Indonesia. But why should this talent drain be one way?
Shouldn't be. We should be open to having Indonesian players here, Thai players. So we already had Thai players here, but unfortunately we haven't had Indonesian players. Purely because I think from the contract point of view, Indonesian players get paid a lot of money. There were Astaman Penyaro to be signed by Home United many years ago, but they couldn't agree on terms. I can understand because Indonesian players are paid well by local standards, even by international standards. Bambang is getting it. Some players in Europe don't get that sort of money. Yeah, that's interesting. So I think probably that's the reason why S League should seriously start looking at their salary cap, perhaps start lifting the salary caps and make it a bit more relevant to today's market, because what they had is, well, I think it's really dated, maybe 3 or 4 years or even 5 years old. At the moment, the market demands are very different, and if you're going to get quality, we really start to need looking at salary caps.